So far in our CSS, we've only been targeting by element. And when we do that, it styles all the elements the same way. But maybe we want to be a little bit more specific. So let's say I want to target the Brachiosaurus paragraph here, but not these two paragraphs up here. Looking in my HTML, I can see that these two paragraphs are inside of a header element, where the Brachiosaurus paragraph is inside of a main element. So knowing that they're inside of different elements, I can style them differently. So if I want to get the Brachiosaurus paragraph, I know it's inside of main, so I'm going to type main, and then I'll put a space and put a paragraph. What this is saying is select every paragraph that is inside of a main element. This is called a descendant selector. So in here we could just change the color to be white, like that. So I go refresh, and you can see I've only selected this paragraph here. I've selected only the paragraphs that are inside of the main element. I can do the same thing for my header. So I could do header, P, background color, yellow. So there we go. I've changed just those paragraphs now, separately from this one. I've changed their background color. But you'll notice that because I targeted all the paragraphs inside of the header element, right here, it selected both of these paragraphs because they're both inside of the header element. Now the difference, so if you look at them, this paragraph is directly inside the header element, where this paragraph is inside of a div, which is inside the header element. So we can target those a little bit differently. So if I wanted to get just this paragraph right here, I could go like this. I could type header div p, and let's change the color to white. So this says get every paragraph that is inside of a div that is inside of a header. So if I go refresh, you'll see it's getting this one right here. That's one way to do it. The other way is because this paragraph is directly inside of a header and there's nothing surrounding it, we can use a child selector. So if I was to type header greater than p, that would mean get any paragraph that is directly inside of a header and not inside of something else. So I could change the color then to red. So there, I've selected just this paragraph separately from this one. So I can either target multiple levels deep like this, or I can target what's called a child selector. This right here, the greater than, means that the paragraph is directly inside of the header and not inside of something else. Let's look at one more relational selector. Inside of our header, we can target P's directly because using the child selector here, but we're getting both of those paragraphs. We're getting both these here because they're both directly inside the header. But let's say I only wanted to get this paragraph and I wanted to style it differently from this paragraph. Now they're both directly inside of the header, so the child selector doesn't work. But the difference is that this paragraph is right beside an H1. So because it's beside an H1, I can style that. So in here, I could type H1 plus P and do something to it. Background color of red. Now this selector says find every paragraph that is immediately beside an H1. If I go and refresh, you can see I've selected this paragraph right here. Let me change the color on that too. So we have different ways of selecting relational things. We have descendant selectors like this. We have child selectors, which are kind of like direct descendants. And then we have sibling selectors or adjacent selector, where the P is beside an H1. And we can style that way.